out, meaning on the big blue marble, as I normally say. Greetings and welcome, those of you who are non-Dominicans but always follow that program each and every Saturday. Welcome on board as well, wherever you are as well. Whatever time of day you are listening and watching, welcome on board. It's always a pleasure to have you folks on board each and every Saturday. And so it's, well, I was going to say it's just about that time, but it's half past that time. And so I want to apologize to you guys for starting our program a half an hour late. But this evening, I really and truly had to take an extra half hour just to be properly prepared, as it were, because the body was really, really tired this afternoon, and I really had to take some rest so that I could come here feeling much more rejuvenated, as it were, so that I could deliver what I have prepared for you guys this evening. All right? But nonetheless, we're here, 6:35, and so we are well oiled, as it were. The machinery is well oiled, and we are ready to go. Yes, the song that I normally start with, it's entitled Guns and Roses from Brother Lucky Dubby. For some time this week, that song has been resonating with me in more ways than one, and I will tell you why sometime later. And there's a line in that song that said, we have to be united against being divided. And so that line in particular, yes, we have to be united against being divided. And that line for sure in that song, it really spoke volume to me this week. And yes, we're going to dissect that, as it were, in terms of an expose that I have prepared for you guys later, and hope that, you know, everyone on board here, we will be in tune with what is said here. So again, all friends, foes, fans, welcome on board. It's always a pleasure indeed. 27th of April 2024 is the date, and yes, welcome to the Saturday Night Live with yours truly on board. Folks, I want to start this evening with some condolences messages, and so without much delay, let me just say to the family and friends of Nurse Tracy, we all, well, should I say we all? Yes. By now we all should know the very unfortunate situation that happened to this young nurse from Silver Lake, we're being told, who lost her life and the life of her young one in the process. And so we continue to sympathize, empathize with her and her family at this time as they continue to mourn the loss of their daughter. All right, so all of you out there who are mourning in one shape or form, be it for Nurse Tracy or others, be it your lover, be it your lost, sorry, a loved one, my heart and prayer go out to you at this time. All right, in that vein too, I want to say a special good day, shout out a very good day to the family and friends, loved ones that is, of Mr. Raymond Henderson. Raymond Henderson, we got to know on Friday morning that an incident happened in the Emsall area where he lived. He was found, it is said that he was found in his house with a rope. He was hanging from a rope in his house, and so most likely, allegedly, there was a situation of suicide. All right, the facts of that matter, it has not been ascertained properly as yet from a legal standpoint, as it were. So we will say for now that allegedly a suicide by hanging. We got to know of in the Baffosit area, and Mr. Raymond Henderson, by all stretch of the imagination, everybody who know this brother so far only have good words to share about this brother in terms of his life that he spent here with us. Lots of good words. So I don't want to say anything other than lovely words of the brother at this time, based on the sentiments that have been expressed thus far by a number of persons who knew Mr. Henderson. And so to all, yes, all his relatives, friends, I know you guys are grieving at this time. It's a very trying time. But I always say in this time we have to look up, because that is where our true strength comes from. Though friends, loved ones may come around you to encourage you, but you really have to go deep within yourself and look up to that supernatural being, if you believe in that supernatural being, to get that strength, all right, in this time of bereavement. Okay. What I want to see on just that, before I move from there, what I want to say on that before I move from Brother Henderson in terms of his death. There was one point in time in my life I used to frequent the Emsall area a lot. And so based on what I'm going to tell you, it is not hearsay. It is from a first-hand standpoint. As parents, we bring forth children in this life. And once we bring forth children in this life, once they are delivered, especially from the maternal end, that is the mother's end in particular, that's the point I want to make there now. She brings forth that child. There is supposed to be that nurturing, that love, that care, that protection, that guiding, as it were, from day one to, if some person say, till that child passes away. Legally speaking, 18 years of age in Dominica, that child need their wings to fly, as it were. Having that sort of coaching so that they won't depart from it. But I say all that to say, parents need to learn to let go sometimes, especially where the children are concerned. Sometimes young people grow up and they show certain tendencies in life. They express certain things in life. They take a certain path in life. And we, who are the onlookers, who had very little part to play in this children upbringing, we normally ask ourselves, why? Why is it that these children, why is it that child is behaving a particular way? But it is always good to go back, because it is by going back sometimes you can put certain things into perspective as to just how some adults are living their lives. And so it is my encouragement. I know sometimes it is a tough call, but it is my encouragement to parents out there, me being a parent as well, to sort of know when to let go. Because just like water that is locked in an area, just like water that is locked somewhere, and we know what water does, the characteristics of water. Wherever it is, it shows itself. It wants to show its presence. And even if it is condensed between big rocks, then there will come a point in time where those little water droplets, they will seep through. Yeah, they will seep through. And so knowing what I know, a very sad passing of this brother, but my encouragement to parents out there, please, as Tasha P. once said in song, you have to let your children be children. And that description takes on more meaning than one. You may not like where your children may be going in terms of their direction in life, but the most you can do is guide, guard, and try to protect. And for those of you who may know about that situation that I'm referring to with Mr. Henderson and his very untimely passing, then I will say no more. Just to reiterate that point, parents, there comes a point in time where we have to learn to let our children be children. Dominicans, that is it for that in terms of conversation. We also heard the passing as well of Mr. Ras Mo, Ras Moses, a very formidable brother, an icon in the cultural world in Dominica as well. Well, not just in Dominica, but those of you out there who know brother Moses, Ras Mo, we used to call him. He worked the length and breadth of this country trying to keep culture alive. And so to gain to his friends and family now at this time of your bereavement, he will be missed for sure. He left an indelible mark on Dominicans, those of whom he spoke with, those of whom he interacted with, especially on a work level where the cultural division is concerned. And so we will all miss Brother Ras Mo as we're trying to come to grips with the passing of this brother. All right? In preparation for this program, I reached out to none other than somebody who should know him well, who worked with him for some time. That is Mr. Raymond Lawrence. And Raymond Lawrence sent me a clip. I wanted him to be on with us, just to give us an idea of, in 10 minutes or so, a snapshot of this brother's life, his legacy that he lived. But he said that he had a prior engagement and he really couldn't be here with us tonight in terms of a live audio, but he sent an audio to me. And I'm just going to punch it in your hearing now as we are moving on, all right? In terms of the memory, remembering Brother Ras Mo.
Ras Mo was a very dynamic.
All right, let me just take that from the top and boost up that volume a little bit. Yep, let's go.
Delmance Moses, better known as Ras Mo, was a very dynamic cultural activist who had a great passion for popular theater, performance poetry, drumming, singing, and training young people and conducting workshops using various artistic disciplines. He loved the Creole language and would create very inspiring and motivational poems for his performances. For several years in the 1980s and 1990s, he worked with the Movement for Cultural Awareness, MCA, and conducted training programs across the island using song, dance, and drumming. He also did training in other Caribbean islands, and when he migrated to the United States, he also conducted popular theater workshops in different parts of the US and beyond. He also designed and carried out a lot of violence prevention work in the US. He published 3 books of poetry and 2 albums of music. In 2015 and 2016, he worked as a cultural officer with the Cultural Division, carrying out violence prevention work in different areas of Dominica. And of course, he was always performing poetry, using his captivating drumming skills as accompaniment. Up to this year, he was working on a recording of his performance poetry. Ras Mo made a major contribution, especially to the development of popular theatre and the development of the performance skills of young people. He will be missed for his performance and animation skills and his ability to motivate young persons to make a positive impact with their lives. Dominica has lost another champion in arts and culture. We've lost another cultural stalwart. And so I want to extend my deepest sympathies to the Dominica cultural community, his home community of Dailies, his family, friends, and all those who knew him and worked with him. May his soul rest in peace.
All right, may his soul rest in peace as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Raymond Lawrence, past Chief Cultural Officer and of course cultural icon in Dominica, for giving us just a perspective of just who the brother Ras Mo was indeed. For those of you maybe just tuning in at this time and you may have missed it, I'm going to point this one more time before we move from that segment. All right.
Delmans Moses, better known as Ras Mo, was a very dynamic cultural activist who had a great passion for popular theatre, performance poetry, drumming, singing, and training young people and conducting workshops using various artistic disciplines. He loved the Creole language and would create very inspiring and motivational poems for his performances. For several years in the 1980s and 1990s, he worked with the Movement for Cultural Awareness, MCA, and conducted training programs across the island using song, dance, and drumming. He also did training in other Caribbean islands, and when he migrated to the United States, he also conducted popular theater workshops in different parts of the US and beyond. He also designed and carried out a lot of violence prevention work in the US. He published 3 books of poetry and 2 albums of music. In 2015 and 2016, he worked as a cultural officer with the Cultural Division, carrying out violence prevention work in different areas of Dominica. And of course, he was always performing poetry, using his captivating drumming skills as accompaniment. Up to this year, he was working on a recording of his performance poetry. Ras Mo made a major contribution, especially to the development of popular theatre and the development of the performance skills of young people. He will be missed for his performance and animation skills and his ability to motivate young persons to make a positive impact with their lives. Dominica has lost another champion in arts and culture. We've lost another cultural stalwart. And so I want to extend my deepest sympathies to the Dominica cultural community, his home community of Dailies, his family, friends, and all those who knew him and worked with him. May his soul rest in peace.
All right, indeed. Thank you very much again, Brother Raymond Lawrence, for your words here on Mr. Moses, better known as Ras Mo, gone to the great beyond, but for sure will surely be missed. All right, folks, so that is it in terms of messages, condolences wise. And so again, I want to sympathize with all of you out there who may be not on that list in terms of your relatives who may be lost. You lost your relatives, but we continue to, just have you guys in our hearts and prayers. All right? Thank you very, very much indeed. Now, folks, let's move to much more, should I say, nationalistic matters. Yes. Again, I want to compliment very highly, at least the legal system so far. That is the qualifying phrase I want to put here. So far, in terms of justice being meted out, where a crime was done in the Soufriere area, the south of the country, and one of the main suspects, allegedly that is, was basically asking the court to be freed on bail and to go to Texas to receive medical treatment for what he says is some sort of cancerous situation in his body, prostate or otherwise. And I am saying because of the standing up, as it were, by a number of persons from that constituency outside the court. By and large, the court heard their voices and basically, for now, have this guy still behind bars, expecting his day in court, or his days rather in court. And so I want to say here, if this brother is truly and surely going through some sort of medical situation that he needs attention, then as a human right of his, it must be granted. But at the end of the day, the system, the prison system itself ought to be set up in such a way that persons up there going through some medical situation, should be given that kind of health care from the prison's authority standpoint. And so it is not just because you catch the flu, or you catch a virus, or whatever you deem you may have in your system. You may say it, yes, you may request it, yes, but I am saying the prison authority itself should be set up in such a way to help those persons when they're incarcerated go through whatever medical treatment that they may require, and not necessarily be placed on bail to attend whatever they are suggesting or saying. All right? Because the gravity of that matter, it is one of grave concern to all of us in Dominica. Not that situation where two people were basically brutally murdered, gunshot, shot down, burned, acid poured on their bodies, it is said, and their vehicle was set ablaze and was thrown down a precipice more than 1,000 feet deep, basically wanted to do away with that heinous crime. And it is on public record, it is on our court system as a record. Mr. Jonathan Lera, and one of them who died, that is Mr. Daniel Langua. They had this long outstanding dispute between them as it pertains to a road. And so it is no surprise this brother suffering that kind of fate, and his partner, it is said, obviously Mr. Lera would be automatically a suspect in the matter. And it goes further, whereby another suspect in the name of Mr. Robert Snyder. So far, it is being said, it is alleged that Robert Snyder was flown in or brought into Dominica by the other suspect, it is alleged, to commit or help commit that very gruesome crime, and thought they would got away, and thought they would have gotten away with it. And so a crime of that nature, a crime of that magnitude, answers need to be given. And so far, as I said, so far, our justice system is holding up. I am hearing other things in the grapevine, but let us just hope that at least on that case, with that case, where some international cameras are upon Dominica, then justice will be meted out in this matter. Now, on that case as well, let me make a direct plea now to the prison authority at Stock Farm. That is where these two people are held. Through my sources basically have told me that we must be very careful in Dominica as it pertains to some inmates given favoritism over others. So that the system at the prison now, so you, Mr. Warden, you, Mr. Superintendent, you, Mr. Supervisor at the prison, you are the guys that I'm specifically talking to now. Persons who from the court come under your watch as prisoners, you guys should not be showing favoritism to one or two or three over another. You heard me right? Because so far, it would seem that there is a level of favoritism. There is a level of biasness that goes into the treatment that is meted out to some over the other as it pertains to inmates. And we are on this Jonathan case, we are on this Robert Snyder case. And so I want to make the connection right there. So if, that's a big if, but my sources, I can bank on them in terms of factual information. So if in any way, shape or form, you guys are showing any sort of biasness to Mr. Jonathan Lehrer and or his co-conspirator allegedly, you guys need to stop it. Because if it is not stopped sooner rather than later, I may have no choice but to come here on a Saturday like that and show you documented information of what I'm talking about. And I will leave it as vague as that for now. Very vague as that for now. Before we move on, Dominicans, let me see if I can go here to take some of your comments. I know sometimes some of you, if I can go here to take some of your comments. I know some of you sometimes here, you want me to be very specific with you guys, huh? But I know that. But I have a way of doing my stuff. I have a way of operating, and it has to be, you know, in a certain zone that I have to go to basically say certain things, especially as it pertains to my sources. And I don't want to break my confidence in my sources, but you will get the message. If you have been following yours truly over the years of speaking, then you will understand fully well what I'm saying. All right? A brother, lady, you know, sometimes call me, why are you so vague sometimes on certain things? It's intentional. All right? When I need to get very direct, I get very direct. Gary Phillips says, Lofty, these guys are just following orders from high authority, so there's nothing they can do. We all know who's behind this. Well, Gary Phillips, you may have a point, but that is what I'm saying here. I'm pressing the point as well, that even if they're getting orders from somewhere, then these orders should not be followed as it pertains to justice. Because the prison authority is an authority by themselves. They should be able to control what goes in and out of the prison, of the confines of that space as it pertains to security and treatment. So it shouldn't be one rule for one and one rule that no. It shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. So it cannot be a prisoner or some prisoners are allowed to have mobile devices on them, or devices like computers on them, or in their possession, and they can do every and anything from the confines of their cell or their holding place, and others cannot. And so we well know, once you're dealing with technology, there's always a digital footprint. And so that is why I'm warning, I am guiding the prison authority, the hierarchy there. You guys need to take note as to what is happening or may be happening under your watch. And so again, vaguely like that, I will leave it right there. Jacid said, if he happens to get bail, will the Dominica police be traveling with him? That is not that is not a practical reality, Jacid. So that is not a situation that, you know, that is not reality. No police will be going with him anywhere. The man is on bail, the man is on bail. He said he wanted to go to Texas. Not nobody, he said that. Now anytime a man like that reach in Texas, trust me, the chances of he coming back to attend a court matter in Dominica, it is as slim to none. And I am saying that. Levels Esprit, not only the prison in Stockfarm that needs rehabilitation, the detention center at the police headquarters needs to be exposed as well. Well, Mr. Esprit, that has been a situation that has been with us for some time. Yes, and I do agree with you. The conditions of the cells, the holding cells in Roseau and all over the country, they are very inhumane in nature, not conducive to holding of animals sometimes, much less for human beings, even if they are suspected or even convicted of crimes. So I agree with you. We need to get down to that as well. Yeah? Let me see. Marigold Popo says, Lofty, everything has been controlled from the higher authority. I want to think they must do what Massa says. Well, Marigold, yes, I am aware of that, but at the end of the day, there's a thing that says Massa D is supposed to be done. All right? Marijo says some eating steaks while others eating gel cochon. Marijo always makes some comments to freak me out, but I get your point. All right? Again, it stems back to the unfair treatment that I'm speaking of. All right? And maybe, just maybe, next week or so, if I talk to my sources who, you know, punch that one at me and show me the evidence, and I ask them whether I could release it to you guys out there as to what I just said to you in terms of the favoritism. Once I get the green light from them, I'll be willing to share, all right? But for now, I just want to keep the prison authority on the high command, not the ordinary, the high command. You guys need to step up in that department. Whatever is happening up at the prison, unfair treatment, one versus the other, it should stop, should not continue to happen. Yeah? Let us switch our attention now to Discover Dominica. There's an authority again that deals with things as it pertains to selling our country out there, promoting our country out there, and that is the quasi-government institution called Discover Dominica. You heard the name, right? Discover. That institution, that organization by itself, in terms of the manpower there and how they were set up in terms of the guidelines, policies, principles thereof, supposed to be a body that has the responsibility to help promote white Kubuli. So whenever the budget is called, that is the national budget, where the finance minister, whoever he or she is, gives us figures as it pertains to the allocations now for different ministries in Dominica, the Discover Dominica aspect that whichever department controls that ministry, which is the tourism sector, the tourism ministry, a portion of money is always allocated to that organization to promote or help further, help push Dominica's cause as a country. But what I'm being told of late, that institution, the Discover Dominica aspect of the Commonwealth of the country, the Commonwealth of Dominica, it is under tremendous pressure. So no matter about the 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, whatever we hear, sometimes that is allocated to Discover Dominica from the tourism standpoint. Those monies, the bulk of those monies, let me be correct, never ever reaches the coffers of Discover Dominica. And so that is why we know, as a country, as people living in this country, we are so hard pressed in that department where you go somewhere just out there and you ask persons if they know where Dominica is, and they tell you they don't know. Dominica in this 21st century is still being mixed up with Dominican Republic. And so the people there, they are finding it very hard to promote Dominica as a destination now because of the lack of funds. That's what I'm getting straight up. But you know, in Dominica, persons cannot speak their mind, especially when they're in certain positions. They cannot say it as it is in the public domain. So things always, you know, come out. And so that is what I am getting where our country, Dominica, is concerned. Those of you who may be listening, who know certain things happening in that department, you know exactly well what I'm saying is true. And the level of micromanagement that goes into that department as well, it is also alarming. Persons are not able to spread their wings and do their work because there's always this top-down sort of mentality. And so the Minister of Finance, who is now Mr. McIntyre, Irvin McIntyre. You, Mr. McIntyre, you need to understand what is going on in your ministry as finance minister, and don't go down the road of not producing the goods, as it were. If monies are allocated to a certain department, please ensure, sir, that you do the right thing by allocating that money, at least the bulk of it, so that the ministry, the tourism sector we are now on, zeroing on, can execute. Because it is one thing to talk about money, it is a totally different thing, a totally different kettle of fish to be touching that money to be able to execute. And so of late, we have been hearing some resignations from that department. And I am saying, based on what I got from within, these resignations are basically bothering on the fact that no monies or very little funds, very little resources are at their disposal to execute. And so if you are promised $10 and you are given $2, that leaves you with a deficit of $8. And so whatever your plans and programs are, they cannot be a reality because of that $8 deficit. And that is just a microcosm, a small keyhole as to what goes on in the other ministries. Right about now, we are even more hard pressed for monies now because of the drop in our beat all and end it all as our savior, which is the CBI. So we can well imagine now how crunch it is in terms of the allocation of these funds. But we cannot be touting in our books that we have monies out there, and we cannot find these monies to benefit the citizens of the country. No, that cannot stand. And so that is why I am very proud to hear persons who are vying for the governance of this country whenever it comes around, and I'm assuming very soon, that these monies that are out there, they will be going after these dollars. And proper accounting will be instituted so that at least some persons will be held responsible for not producing our money to the benefit of Dominica and Dominicans. And so that is welcome news. And we as a citizen now can fast track that situation, because we who are feeling the pinch, we the people in Dominica, we are feeling the pinch. So if you want to see that a reality, you know what to do. You know exactly what to do or what not to do as well. But we cannot continue running a country on very skimpy resources like that when our country is blessed with resources that are, much more than other countries. And I don't want to go down there because I don't want to deviate, but our country people, sometimes we're the laughing stock of the region. I'm not going past the region. Yeah? St. Vincent, for example, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they don't, as a country, do anything to sell passports. And they're miles away from us. We have been selling passports from 1993. And Jig Jordi, we cannot give proper accounting for some of these monies. We have nothing or very little to show for the billions of dollars that we have accumulated through this Ponzi scheme where we sell our passports. Our air access is terrible. We are in talk now. We are struggling after having dispersed the people of Wesley far and wide in their community. We are hearing of talk now of an international airport that should have been done years ago in the interest of Dominica, if you ask me. And I am hearing there's this extra thrust, there's this extra push to make that international airport a reality, come hell, high water, because that is one of the trump cards, that is one of the ace card. I am hearing that the next general election will be riding on as it pertains to appeal or trying to appease you for your vote. Because there's nothing else really that these quote-unquote tired men and women who have been there for 25 years can tell us again or can ask of us again in order to genuinely receive our vote. So that project I am hearing, just like the CBI, it is being banked on as the beat all, the savior, the end it all, so that the next general election can be hinged upon it as a selling point for your votes in Dominica. You can take that to the bank and get cash. And if, by some reason, it doesn't become a reality, then we normally say in Dominica, Kaipul Kwazi, meaning a foul house must be broken down. All right? figuratively speaking. Yeah? But we deserve better, Dominica. So just to come back on that Discover Dominic Authority situation. Very tight. Cannot pull the goods together because the monies are short. And so when our trails in Dominica, a simple thing as a trail is not in order. A simple thing as a public convenience when tourists or even us ourselves go to those facilities at the destinations, these things are not in order. What do we expect? Basic things. When we go or when the tourists go to the different sites around the country and there's not even adequate supplies in these facilities, toilet paper, things to clean these facilities, discipline, Clorox, whatever it is, mop and pails, inadequate supplies. What do we expect? When something happened to some of these trails, it's like years to fix those things. And we're telling ourselves, or we're fooling ourselves sometimes and talking about we are the envy of the Caribbean. That's a foolish statement. That's living in La La Land. That's living in dream world. You get up from sleep and you just had a nice dream. But in reality, when you get back to reality, that's how it is in Dominica, people. So little things like just what I mentioned to you, it gives you clear data as to what goes on in bigger things in that same institution that I spoke of. So let me break it down for you if you guys cannot understand what I'm telling you now. What is happening? At least we are zeroing on the Ministry of Tourism, Discover Dominica by extension. If you have a house and a piece of your guttering fall off from your house, if you have a house and the pipe is broken, if you have a house and the paint is fading away, and you cannot do these basic repairs on your house, which is supposed to be your investment because of the lack of funds, do you think it's an extension on that same house you will be able to do? Do you think it is a new set of plumbing fixtures? Do you think that you'll be able to redo your roof in that same house? No, because it shows people that the basic things you cannot do. So externally, a little piece of your guttering is hanging. You can even buy a screw to screw it up, to pin it back together, put it in place, like our trails, like our toilet facilities across the country, so that when persons come to our shores, want to do number 1 or number 2, they can be comfortable. And so if we cannot do that as a people, which is very, very basic stuff, are we expecting any promotion to be done of that same country? No. If you have to leave North America and fly to Dominica, do you know how many boats and pui you have to take to get here? And when you get here physically, but most time your luggage is at the back. All you can come with is what you have as hand luggage. And maybe one suitcase. If you bring 3 and 4, some must stay back. And God knows when it will arrive here too. And that's the reality. So how are you supposed to market a country like that? And when the people ask you, where is your country? You tell them it is in the string of the little archipelago here. That is it here. Do you have enough air access so that when I come through, I can come through with an entourage? And you tell them, well, you might have to stop in St. Lucia, take a little dinghy, take a little whatever it is and come. No, these people don't hear that. So these are the challenges, people, that we face as a people as it pertains to country. We are not going in the health sector tonight. We are not going into agriculture tonight. We are not going into the green economy tonight. We are not going into the other sectors that is supposed to be benefiting us. We are just giving you a snapshot as to that tourism product which we cannot deliver on because of the lack of funds. I can't say it any better, people. That's the reality. That's the reality of our situation. You go to Portsmouth, for example, just Portsmouth, where there's much room for development. Go to Portsmouth as we speak and talk to anybody down who in Ross days used to be flowing, used to be glowing. Talk to them. When you come in from Portsmouth, you look, if you're going south, you look to your right, you will see some unfinished concrete, I am saying now, jungle on the right hand side. Where Peter Karam and them had this, whatever they call it, Coconut Beach or whatever his name is there. You will see some things up there. I am saying they are very ugly. They are not fitting. They are not befitting of what we propose or what we sell Dominic out there to be as the nature isle. It is like a square peg in a round hole. Very unsightly. They are there under construction, it is said, for timely memorial. Some big concrete slabs, I call them. That is the country promoting. Yes, Coconut Beach, Wallace, thank you very much. Yeah, that's the country we say promoting as nature. And I am saying, based on what have been going around in my country, I am no stranger in my country. Though sometimes it feels so. These buildings and the orders that the so-called passport sellers and dealers have, it is basically helping to wash these dirty monies. These guys are not interested in buildings, but obviously they have to come up with something, at least to show that they are doing something as a passport peddler. And so here it is. The best or better place to wash this dirty money now is in concrete. Because we know Dominicans are, as Piero said once, we can be easily be fooled or taken for a ride. So if we see a high skyscraper in concrete, we don't know how to break that down. It have to take some kind of a architectural or engineering people to break that down for us to understand what we're looking at in terms of money's worth. So that is where some of these guys hide their money, or they tend to wash the dirty money that they're making in our passports. Anybody that has a business brain that is about business cannot, should not, in this day and age, take that inordinate of a long time to finish what they say are hotels. It shouldn't. With the kind of monies we're hearing about, these hotels, to me, I am saying, 2 years, yeah, open it up, put the country on track, promote, but Years on, 10 years on. And Dominicans pass there every day, see these things, and it's like we get so accustomed. We are now become immune to corruption. And so we see it in our eyes now. And we just, that's Dominica. Sad, but true. Still in the Portsmouth area. And by the way, we have a mumbo jumbo building in Roseau. I'll be dealing with that next week. The House of Dark Secrets. Very dark secrets. We call that one. We'll be going down into that one next week. If the good Lord above spares at least my life. We haven't forgotten it. Because it is there as a big, huge, not a white elephant, because they painted it in some kind of gray and yellow or whatever it is. So it is there as that color elephant in Roseau now. But we're still in Portsmouth. You have this Moroccan, what they call it? Moroccan mosquito hotel. That's what it is? I didn't see. This place is just there, deteriorating on the waterfront. Paros are using that place now to go in and out. Animals are using that place. The fencing that was just falling apart. And Dominicans, we continue to watch. When much more could be given to us, when much more could be afforded us in terms of these dollars. Could anything else other than that Moroccan hotel go there to benefit at least the North people? Anything else? We have been hearing, just talk about a marina for so long. Couldn't a marina go there? Wouldn't that be of greater interest economically to the people of that environment and Dominica by extension? But alas, we continue to watch. We have been told about a cruise ship village for so long. That is now supposed to be in our distant memory. We have been told about that in so long. Up till now, not a movement in that regard. But ever so often it comes up again. And Dominicans, you guys are continued to be fooled and fooled and fooled and fooled. When will you stop yourself from being fooled, Dominicans? Just when? From the persons who know when this cruise ship village was touted about as the hot bread on some polytrickster's tongue. Do you know that there were plans drawn up? Plans drawn up. Drawings then drawn up for that cruise ship village that was supposed to be by the port area there. Do you know that? What has happened to that? And next time around, the same set of polytricksters will come to you and tell you promises or make you promises, and you wouldn't have the memory to ask them about the promises that were made before. So, we continue to watch. Dominicans are our country, our own. And we ought to be doing much more in terms of accounting, accountability where governance is concerned. That is all I'm about. It cannot be a set of people continue to fool you over and over and over again. And we just do as if, well, it's like a walk in the park on a Sunday morning. Nah. In the interest of country, we have to do better than that. It's imperative. Promises after promises after promises. What's your city before we move? Before we move from that topic, what's your city? Just take a good look at your city. Watch the gutters in the city. Just the gutters. You have gutters in the city. When it rains, the water just stays there. These are mosquito breeders. Mosquito brings dengue and all sort of other illnesses. The drains are not free flowing. Roseau, before 5 minutes of water, it is flooded because the drains are blocked, it is congested, the place is just a mess. But year in, year out, you have these politicians coming to tell us, oh, Roseau will be the envy of the Caribbean in years to come. What about the drainage, proper drainage for Roseau? Just that. We have been talking. We saw pictures already. But again, pie in the sky promises. After Hurricane Maria in 17, there was this beating of the chest. Oh, we're going to be the most resilient country in the world. And we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. Up till now, not an iota of these promises have been fulfilled. We were told, in moving forward, the utility companies, whoever have lines above, have to go below to make us more resilient of a country. At least that. Where's that? We still have wires sparking over our head, like fireworks sometimes. And Dominic has to be called in to deal with it. Where's that? So Dominicans, we can do much better. So I'm just using those scenarios to jog back our memory so that we don't, forget. Some of us conveniently, that is. Let me just take some of your comments and then we're going to dovetail into another segment. Wow, it is already 20 minutes to 8 o'clock. How time flies. But we started at, we started at 6:30. So we will be ending at 8:30. All right, so we have the better part of an hour. Yeah? Good. Marshall Lawrence says, Portsmouth majority, still with Labour power. No Ross, no Benjamin Park update for regional and international sports. Alan Pierre writes, so many promises about improving the aesthetics of Roseau. Election after election. Noeline Prevo writes, the drains in Roseau is a joke. What about the huge holes in the sidewalk? Well, that's what I'm talking about. Chiquito Thomas writes, the people in the country is the big problem, not the Prime Minister. Comes back to say, how much can you take as a people? My Kalinago crew, good evening to you, listening and watching at this time. We also have, let me see. All right, getting a message here. Let me see this. Okay, can fact check this one as just yet, so I will leave that alone. Brother Angelo Allen says here, greetings, lofty. God bless. Angelo, my brother, God bless you as well. God bless you as well. Because I know you have been on the front line for some time. And yes, some persons, they did not take your advice then. If they had only taken your advice then, Angelo, we would have been able as a country to avert at least 75% of our woes now. Yeah, so yeah. Thaddeus James, my brother, another frontline soldier, good evening to you. Tad and his wig. Tad, good evening to you, my brother. Yeah, there was some, oh yes, there's something I was going to say, but it just slipped me. But it came back. there is this situation that I kept pounding on. And I'm not taking credit for it, so I don't need the credit. All I just want to do is to thank whoever that listened and did the right thing. And I am talking now about the removal or the removing of Bois Cutlet as an organization selling our passports in Dominica. So for some time, especially during the time of that brother's arrest and the allegation where it is said that either he or his co-conspirator helped to kill these two people, his company's name, Bois Cutlet, was on the government's website as an agent to do business. And yours truly kept pounding at that. I kept saying it cannot be. We have a man who is fronting as Bois Cutlet, who is doing business as Bois Cutlet, on the government's website as still a bona fide agent. He sitting down in prison as we speak, waiting his day or days in court. And so to my surprise, from last week, I think brother Viva Mamo or sister Viva Mamo pointed it out to me via post. And when I went, I checked that Bois Cutlet as an organization was removed. And so to the powers that be, well done. At least that is a step in the right direction. So you know what they say? Pressure, double spike. My friend here from St. Vincent, Navia Newman, good evening to you. It's always your humility for me. Keep pushing. Navia, I gain strength from you as well. Huh? So, as the good book says, iron sharpeneth iron. And so whenever you come live, once I have the time, Navia, I know what you do is for your people. You speak the word or words that certain persons dare not speak. And as a result of that, I fell in love with you, as it were, on the social media scene, the social media space. Because I love people like that, who are passionate, who are nationalists of their country. Put nothing before their country. No party. No, nothing else but country. And so I applaud you and keep going, my friend Navia Newman. Always, always a pleasure as well. And so all the firecrackers in the region as well. My brother from Antigua, those in St. Lucia, Algan and Watts and these people. You guys keep me going as well. It is one space we live. And if you don't talk for your neighborhood, I will not get the strength to talk in my neighborhood. And so let us keep that bond of camaraderie, that bond of unity, and just let us use the God-given power that we have to speak truth beyond power. Not even truth to power, it's beyond power. Yeah? So, Bois Cutlet is finally out of on the government's website as an agent to the business. Even if they may be facilitating him behind the back door to sell his passports, but up front, he is no more. And so let us keep pushing Dominicans. These are small, very small steps. These are small hurdles that we overcome, we cross over in order to get the big victory for a country. Let us keep pushing. Now, what I'm going to get into now, I know some of you, even on the live feed now, and that is why I normally starts off the program by saying, they are friends, they are fans, and they are foes. I love you all. It really doesn't matter to me. What I'm going to say now, it is going to be offending some of you, but it doesn't really matter. That is me speaking my mind as it pertains to country. So, if when I start that segment, you guys cannot take the heat or cannot continue to listen or watch, you don't need to stay and make trouble. You can, just step out of the frame and maybe compare next week. I am going to go now, Dominicans, in a subject matter now that deals with the political tribalism that we have in this country. We have had it, and we have it, and it is causing havoc among us as a people. The political diatribe. And that basically means, a diatribe lingo basically means, the last time I checked, saying or doing things to criticize so critically that you lose the objectivity of what is at play, of what is at hand. And that's where I'm going now. This week, Dominicans, to console myself, I posted a picture of what I got online when I plugged it in to resemble or speak to part of the Indian Ocean. And I know when I posted that picture, I got a lot of comments, I got a lot of calls privately. Lofty, what is that about? I said, listen, Saturday, you will hear much more about that post. And so whenever I post something, people, I don't just post for posting's sake. These things are calculated, they are meditated upon before they are executed. And so this week, I was in that zone, that very phase whereby, because of the political tribalism in my country, I had to sort of retract a bit. I had to go back a bit. Because if I had delved into what we were facing at the time, maybe I would have said or done or did certain things that, would not have been becoming obvious truth. And so I had to regress. And so I Googled a picture of the Indian Ocean. Now, why the Indian Ocean? Because the Indian Ocean, to me, represents a situation that is still unsolved in where humanity is concerned. And I'm specifically talking about now on the site that is a Malaysian airline, MH370, left Kuala Lumpur Airport in Malaysia, 2014, March the 8th that is, was on its way to Beijing, China. Just a mere 6-hour flight. Left that airport about 12:30 in the morning, Malaysia. And at least by 6 o'clock thereabout, that plane was supposed to touch down. And for some stretch of the imagination, whatever happened, still a mystery. That plane, that mega ship in the air, I call it, it basically disappeared. It vanished. And so 10 years on, though having gotten little stick bits and whatever it is, persons are still not in the know factually what happened to that MH370 flight with 239 souls just basically vanished. And by all stretch of the imagination, it is said that that plane, whatever happened, be it pilot suicide, mechanical problem, hijacking, whatever it is may have happened, it is suggested based on the last set of pings that came from that plane, the engines, the Boeing design engines, normally send pings at least to ground every hour. The last ping was heard over the Indian Ocean. And so a search was done there, and up till now, nothing in terms of that plane. Not just plane. Imagine Dominica as a country losing 239 people. Your relative just vanished. It is one thing for someone to die, but it's a totally different thing for someone to vanish. And so it is in that frame of mind I was this week when I heard some political rhetoric coming out. And I said, you know something, Lofty? I parallel or compare Dominica's situation politically now to that of the Indian Ocean, where the political diatribe, the political back and forth, the political wranglings, it is so deep, it is so wide, it is so vast, that sometimes you have to wonder, what is it that you're dealing with? It is sometimes comes across like an unsolved mystery that your ordinary mind cannot come to understand what is happening in this country called Dominica. And so it's on that note now, I want to put on record, I want to thank very, very, very highly when I listened to Brother Naryn Murphy this week. I didn't watch him live, but I listened to the recording of where he, in his own style, his own fashion, you know, everybody has their style and fashion, and he's a brother, I love his style. There are certain things you see I don't agree with, but at the end of the day, we have to agree to disagree and move on. So Brother Naryn Murphy, take a bow. Thank you very much for always being true to yourself and true to the issues at hand. Trust me, my brother, some persons may not like you, they may not love you, but it is what it is. That is the game. And so he really and truly elaborated on a point whereby here it is, the opposition forces, some of these forces, went at this Gary Hotel, did this function, or they had that press launch of a summit to come 4th to 6th of June. And lots was said there about what is to come. And so in attendance there at the head table, which I was carrying live and other media people were there, you had Severin McKenzie, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, Ronald Charles, Mr. George. George, your first name not coming. Nicholas George. Sometimes there's too much going in the brain at one time. Nicholas George. 4 people at the head table. In my mind, they gave an excellent presentation as it pertains to what can we expect at that summit, but more importantly, to come where Dominica's development is concerned. And that is where I want to rest that case in terms of Dominica's development. That is where I want to shoot from. As it says in Patois, you can hate a dog, you can do like a dog, but if that dog teeth is white, white is white. So they say, hai chien dit teint blanc. And so some of you out there may have not liked what you heard. But it doesn't mean because you didn't like what you heard from there, you have to go on a tangent and criticize what you heard from there, losing the objective of what was said from there. And some of you, you are much too small. You are much too myopic in your thinking, your mental faculties. And that is where Dominica as a country has been for some time. And if we don't make a 180-degree turn from this political madness, I call it, we will be there for a very long time. And I say it without any apology. Some of you, you need to change your very low-minded, myopic point of view when it comes to your country. Sometimes, it is not what you like. It is not what you love. It may be, it is not who you like. It is not who you love. Once what is being presented by whoever is presenting it is thinking and talking contrary. And I know some of you now will go on your tangent and tell me, oh, these people have their motive. You see that motive story? You have to give people a chance to execute what they are thinking, what they have written, and then when it is done, or in the process of happening, you can come and say, you know something? No, we're on the wrong track, let us retrack. But it cannot be. Things are just being mentioned in Dominica. And some of you are like raging pit bulls. Ready to attack. We have attacked too much in this country. And that attacking have brought us nowhere. A matter of fact, if you ask me, that attacking has brought us back. And so I know some of you may want to say it, but you may say, boy, I don't want to shuffle it. No. You see, my country is mine. And whatever is good for my country, I am prepared to go on a torture stick for my country's sake. That's it. And that level of political diatribe, that level of political, what I should call it, it cannot continue, people. It cannot. We have a country to build and a country to build. You have a man, Roosevelt, me that scary. They're at the helm of country for 20-something years. And we all have a problem with the policies in which Roosevelt is executing Dominica's business. Most of us have a problem with that. But because some of you have a problem with that, and it depends now on who is trying to counterattack, you guys have more issues with that. And I'm saying, Dominicans, we need to stop that foolishness. We need to stop that foolishness. We need to stop it. And trust me, the Dominican people that I know of, we are very wise people. At least I give them that. Some Dominicans, they are very... Some Dominicans are very... There's a word I'm looking for. It's just not coming now. It's a particular word. But I'll explain what I mean. Some Dominicans are very observant. I was looking for observant. Some Dominicans are very observant. Some Dominicans are very painstaking people. Some Dominicans are very careful in how they approach things, in what they say, what they don't say, what they do, what they don't do. But that doesn't mean they are not internalizing things that are being said. That doesn't mean they are not taking note or notes. And so sooner rather than later, the Dominican public will, in more ways than one, let you guys know they have been listening and taking note, and it's time for that diatribe to stop. It's time for it to stop. Dominicans, we have been at that for a quarter of a century. 25 years we have been at that. And it is said It is said, I'll repeat it, you hear it many times. A definition, or one of the working definitions for insanity. It is doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. And so, having that definition to work with and to go by, I am saying some of you are politically insane because you tend to want to do the same things over and over again and expecting your desired result, which is something different. Can't cut it. And so, like Naren Murphy, I don't have any red cards. I'm not a referee. I leave that for Naren to give red cards. I am only speaking my mind, how I see it as it pertains to country. And so there are certain things I don't take on. There are certain things I hear and play deaf. There are certain things I see and play blind. And so I choose my battles. But in this country called Dominica, there are certain battles you have to take on head on, because it is a situation of life or death. It is a situation of me continuing to survive in this country like we have been doing for 20-something years, or me thriving in this country as other people in the region. That's where the buck stops. And so those of you with your little, it is myopic, it is small, it is insignificant, the little partisan agendas, you guys need to just get rid of that bull crap. It is bull crap. When something is good, you see, you may have your concerns, your queries, but you don't go on a tirade and on a tangent and running up and down and for what? We are all Dominicans and supposed to speak to each one of us as citizens. That's how it is done, or supposed to be done. You cannot tell me because you hear something and you all up in flames, as it were. You're ready to burst a blood vessel. And so whoever it is that penned these words as it pertains to the press launch and what is to come at that summit, I don't care who it is. Whoever it is that backed up these words, as it were, with this diatribe audio that seek to, or sought to rather, put some kind of wedge in that whatever it is to come, where Dominica's development will be under the microscope, you need to stop it. And as I said, you can continue, but the Dominican public will just know you, or know you guys for who you are. It cannot be party over country. It cannot be your little tribe over country. It cannot be your little cuckoo-ness over country. It cannot be. We have tried that for far too long. Some of us, we have been touting change. And when we talk about change, in our mind, we are talking about political change. I want it more than you. I need it more than you for me to prosper in this country. And I know for you to prosper as well. But that change we seek, it doesn't start from outside. It is starting with us. And some of us, we need to change. Change to a better change, as it were. If you understand my lingo. We cannot be wanting change in only one aspect, and we are not willing to change that kind of a political commerce, that political rambling, that political pit bull behavior We need to change people. So when we call for change, ask for us to change that warped paranoia, partisan blindness of ours. And it doesn't, I really don't care who says it. I'll call it out for as it is. It doesn't matter. We have been in that state for much too long. Our national anthem speaks to it. All for each and each for all. But it seems as if some of you want to take out that line and insert a new line. All for you and none for all. That's what it boils down to. And by your words now, you back it up. By your action, you back it up even more. And so we are not on a good track. We have not been on a good track where that is concerned. And maybe that is one of the reasons why we are here where we are for so long. It is because of that. It runs too deep. There are certain things you have to leave and let leave, people. There are certain things we have to leave and let leave, mon Dieu. You cannot want to have somebody on your mind, on your heart for 25 years and counting. No. Where's the Christianity you guys preach about? I'm not saying you don't have to stand your ground. I'm not saying that. But there comes a point in time, especially in the political arena, you have to go back to the drawing board, reassess your situation in order to make strides moving forward. And it is sad. Very sad. You have to stand your ground. Moral issues, ethical issues, professional issues. There are certain standards you have to meet. And political issues as well. But you have to measure that with a level of savviness. You have to measure that with a level of vision. You have to measure that with a level of objectivity. And so let me be very direct now. Crying down Sam Raphael for whatever you purport Sam is or Sam is not. That cannot cut it, my friend. It cannot cut it. Sam is one man. We have a country to build. We have a country to build. And so whatever you think Sam did or Sam didn't do, let Sam, as they say, own oil, fry him politically. Sam have a conscience to deal with. Sam know as a businessman if his business is doing good or not. And when the time comes, Sam will do what he has to do to extricate himself and his business from that economical mess. But some of you, I'm not putting myself in that. I've passed that. I've over that, as the Rasta said. You guys are holding on to stuff. You are holding on to stuff so dearly and are prepared to go to your graves with it, and in the process bringing the country to the grave as well with you. That kind of mentality, people, it is frightening. And trust me, I was when I posted the Indian Ocean, these are the thoughts that were going through my mind. Because I am saying, I compared Dominica's political tribalism, especially within the opposition forces now, as that of the Indian Ocean. This thing is so deep and wide and vast. unfathomable sometimes. You have to try to understand what is happening. So just like that plane, it is said, sank in there and it cannot be found, we as a people, especially some of us in the opposition, we have not been able to find ourselves, politically that is, with that kind of, you know. Stop bursting your blood vessel, my people. There are certain times you have to listen, internalize stuff, process it, and then you give some kind of a word on it. But I know, based on the utterances some of you make, and whoever the cap fit, let them wear. I really do care. Some of the utterances that some of you make, you just hear something. It comes in the left, it hasn't come out of the right as yet, and you're on a racing track to devour. You are on your mission to kill, like Balaam of old. And that sword is in front of you. You're not seeing because you are so politically blind. And it got me on the wrong side. Trust me, it got me on the wrong side. When at a press conference, and all didn't pass yet, hearing this kind of let quote unquote labor rights, those who want to label labor rights, deliver that or say that. I could understand that. But I cannot be fighting a cause and people fighting me from it. It's just a house divide. It cannot stand. There are people who have the issues. Yes, you have an objective, you have a suggestion, but you cannot go on a tirade and this always, always attacking. If you're playing a game, there's something called defending as well. Soccer is attacking and defense. If your attackers are your forward men and your players at the front, they're attacking, and you don't have nothing at the back to defend that goal, you score one, they score one, because there's nothing there to defend you. So at the end of the day, you score the score, but you're still at ground zero. And it is just sad to see where we are. And I'm specifically talking now to some of our people in the opposition circles in Dominica. And I am saying, without any reservation, we are where we are because of some of you guys' nasty, I'll call it now, nasty political partisan attitude. Straight cut. Straight cut. And so, I really, truly don't care from now on who will be on my back, be it publicly or privately. I don't care. It really doesn't care to me. So those of you who will be making your voice notes and your conversations, those of you who are in their possession, please do not send them for me, please, because I know they will come. Oh, lofty this, oh, lofty that, oh, lofty was. Don't send them. Do not send them, because some of you know jolly well, when you send your garbage my way, I don't respond. I don't respond. There's a country for us to fix. We have to fix that country. Agree to disagree and move on. That is how life cuts it. That is how nature has it. And if we cannot blend in with nature to get success, we are going nowhere, people. But the Dominican public that I know very well, they are listening, as I said, they are taking note, and they are prepared and will act in when that time comes to act. That's it. (8:20). So we have like 10 more minutes to shut it down. Dominicans, tomorrow we have on the Civic Vibes program a young lady, Josie Thomas. She was there last year with us. Last year or this year? Last year, what? Anyway, Josie, time flies so fast. She will be there with us tomorrow. It's Mayfest. Josie is from Marigot. Josie have a lineage from Marigot. And she will be telling us certain things as to her/their as young people contribution to Marigot / Mayfest. So you can tune in for that at about 6 o'clock. And thereafter we're going to accommodate a number of gentlemen, I call them, at the bottom of the hour from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. We're going to accommodate a conversation with members of the ERC team in Dominica. That is the Electoral Reform Coalition in Dominica. All right? Sometimes when I hear that word coalition, most people say collision. We're not colliding anywhere. So, you know, it's a coalition. All right? And they will break it down for you tomorrow, but just as, you know, a precursor of things to come, the Electoral Reform Coalition in Dominica is a body of men and women in Dominica that are made up of a number of different organizations, civic organizations, parties, especially those in the opposition circles, and, you know, some individuals. So yeah, it's a potpourri, as it were, of people who come together again, looking at the interests of country. Yeah. So we'll be having a conversation with them tomorrow evening from 6:30. At least 5 of them has registered their attendance, so we'll be having a full house as it were. So we'll try to manage that time in terms of that hour and a half between 5 guests, and Alvin and myself make it 7. I will have very little to say. So yeah. But that is the conversation we're having tomorrow, and please feel free to join it. Please feel free. I guess the ad is out already on social media on Civic Vibes page, so you can share that information with your friends and contacts so that they too can be part of that all-important conversation about country tomorrow. All right? So Dominicans, in a nutshell, and that is it for me. We were cruising nicely at 35,000 feet, as it were, and so we are now descending. The runway is in sight, and so sooner rather than later, the rear tires will hit that tarmac, make some smoke, that is, once the airport is not wet, and we'll be on the ground safely. So nice flight tonight. I know, you know, we had a little turbulent weather here and there, but the captain managed it nicely. All right? So those of you who have to do whatever it is with the rest of your night, do it with caution in mind, and do whatever it is in moderacy. Yeah, so these are my final words to you as I bid you guys a good night, you know. Let me just see if I can pull up a song here. My computer is sticking up on me. Let me see if I can pull up a song here. I think that song, based on the turbulent nature of the flight tonight,